When it comes to professional wrestling, as wrestling fans, we have our opinions regarding companies, wrestlers, matches, etc., and that is completely fine. But sometimes, these opinions can be considered controversial, thus considered a hot take. This doesn't make your opinion right or wrong, but one that could be considered debatable, disputed, or maybe even questionable. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is a Strange Case of Sean here with my first hot take video. Recently, I put up a post on the 434 Facebook wrestling page and my socials asking for you to share your wrestling hot takes, and now I'm going to react to them with my thoughts. I plan to make this a series and will be making appropriate changes with future videos in the series, so any respectable feedback is appreciated. And if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe and check out my other content. So let's get started, shall we? Hot take number 1. Io Sky is the best wrestler on the entire WWE roster.
Nice.
Io Sky is awesome for sure. She is arguably one of the best, if not the best. When discussing wrestlers who can be considered the best or the greatest, it really is subjective. Like, what parameters are you measuring by? Now, if she entertains you the most in WWE, then yes, you can say she is the best wrestler on the roster. But I would say you need to put more distinct parameters into the opinion. What I mean is, what exactly makes her the best wrestler on the entire roster? Her wrestling ability, match quality, charisma, ring psychology? And I mean this as no slight to Io Sky in any matter. But who I think the best wrestler on the entire WWE roster is? That's a whole other video. Hot take number 2. Jey Uso is the MVP of the 2020s.
I don't know.
That is quite a claim, especially considering we are only halfway through the 2020s. Jey Uso's popularity has skyrocketed after the Bloodline storyline, and I'm very happy for him. I do believe in the Yeet, and I'll be one of the first to admit that I didn't think either Uso would emerge as a main event star as the Bloodline storyline played out. I attributed the storyline to Vince McMahon loving Roman Reigns and trying to make him a star to the levels of John Cena or The Rock. I'm happy that not only did Roman's star grow immensely, but more stars were created in the eyes of WWE, including Jey Uso. I'm not sure if Jimmy Uso or Solo Sikoa can be considered stars to the level of Roman or Jey, but the fact remains that the characters were made and we witnessed many defining moments in this saga. But back to him being the MVP of the 2020s. The praise for Jey is a great compliment to him, and the level of popularity he has reached cannot be denied. He has had some defining moments, but I would say there are a few others that could also be put into the conversation, including Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Gunther, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and more. Also, that's just WWE. What about other companies? It's unwise to ignore wrestlers who aren't in WWE. Wrestlers who could also be considered the MVP of the 2020s include Jon Moxley, Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland, Toni Storm, Mercedes Moné, even Joe Hendry, and I'm sure there may be more that I didn't mention. It's one thing to call Jey a star of the 2020s, but we are still in the 2020s. It remains to be seen if he is the MVP to say, but he could be a contender for it. Hot take number 3. Wrestling fans complain too much, and the tribalism is worse than it was during the height of the Monday Night Wars / territory days. This is interesting, and I have to say I do agree, but I think the biggest reason for the surge in tribalism is the rise of social media. Back in the 90s, during the Monday Night Wars, the internet was in its early stages. You either went to wrestling shows, watched what you could on TV, or traded videotapes. You had some wrestling magazines and almanacs, but in today's age, wrestling is more accessible than it's ever been. In the age of social media, wrestling fans are constantly seeing clips from a wide range of promotions. This gives us a chance to discover what we enjoy and what we don't. Naturally, people use these platforms to share their opinions, and with that open communication comes disagreement. As a result, the ability to instantly connect and debate has helped create the tribalistic and often divided community known as the IWC. Hot take number 4. Dean Ambrose was an upper mid-carder at best and didn't deserve a WWE Championship reign. Where do I begin with this? I was a huge fan of Dean Ambrose in the WWE. His work in The Shield was fantastic. When The Shield broke off, I did like the crazed, lunatic character he played. However, I do believe that is a difficult character to portray as a face. To me, it sort of felt as if WWE was teetering on the line of how crazy do we want Ambrose to come across? WWE at the time clearly saw Rollins as a heel they could invest in and thought Roman was going to be the John Cena babyface. Then where does that leave Ambrose? As a tweener, which pre-Triple H era, WWE didn't really like doing, so they went with a face route as he was insanely popular. Ambrose is a great worker and could easily be considered a main event caliber superstar. Hell, he's doing it currently in AEW as Jon Moxley, so I disagree with that. I also disagree that he didn't deserve a WWE championship reign. He had all the tools to be a champion, and the guy got massive pops on just about every show he was on until the end of his tenure in WWE. I would say the most lackluster he was in the WWE was after he turned heel on Rollins. That work was something. That's not because of his capabilities. I blame that on bad booking and personal vendetta. But to me, this take seems like some AEW fan rage bait. And our final hot take for this video, TNA is the number 2 wrestling company in the US, not AEW. Uh-oh. Wow, now this is bold. TNA has been a constant as a quote, major wrestling company for over 20 years, or at least a close contender to WWE, sans the acquisitions of WCW and ECW. AEW has been a success in the short time they've been around and are generally viewed as the number 2 US wrestling company. That isn't me picking a side in the WWE versus AEW war of the IWC, but WWE is the most well-known wrestling company amongst wrestling fans and mainstream presence. Determining who ranks as the top company really depends on the criteria for which it's being measured by. Are you talking ratings, financial success, best booking, best rosters, something else? Could an argument be made for TNA being the number 2 wrestling company in the US? Perhaps. This again feels like a comment meant to trigger AEW fans. AEW is definitely more well known than TNA. Does that make them the number 2 wrestling company? Maybe, but I would say that AEW is definitely more recognized than TNA today. And before I go, let me leave you with one of my hot takes. Dominic Mysterio is overrated. Tell me what you think of these hot takes, and mine too, in the comments. Discuss and debate with respect, is what I ask. Stay strange, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.